Good day. So my name is Melvin Koopman. I am the program director at a place called Beth Uriel Boys Home. We are situated in Salt River in Cape Town. Beth Uriel was founded in 1987, and the whole idea was to help impoverished young men that come from different backgrounds, from different walks of life, and give them an opportunity to actually become independent living men where they can support their families. And so one of the key areas where we found that the boys are in our program are struggling with is the whole issue around fatherhood. A lot of the boys in this house grew up without a father, and unlike me, I was privileged to have a stable family situation where I grew up with both my parents, and my dad had an integral part in my life. As a young man, I grew up knowing that I can come to my dad at any time and ask him. About 12 years ago, God called me when I was living comfortably in Holland with my family, and everything was going for me, and God really called me to come back into missions, which always had a special place in my heart. As a Christian, I always wanted to do something, giving back to my own people, but giving back in general. So being a father has always been part of my ministry, I feel. I read a book very long time ago. I think it was in the 90s, in the beginning of the 90s, from Floyd McClung, which said, Father, Heart of God. And in there, it sort of challenged me in terms of, because of my relationship with my own father, I could understand what God as a father looks like. And when God called me to Beth Uriel 12 years ago, and when I came here, I just saw the brokenness and the damage that growing up without a father has, the impact that it had on the young men in this house. So I basically, I really just felt a calling on my life to if I'm going to tell these boys about God the Father, then I need to actually model the whole father figure to them. And it was crazy because I come into a house with 26 young men from all different cultures in South Africa, but also in Africa. We've got about 8 or 9 nationalities in the house. And slowly I've seen, what the impact it had on the men in this house, where they started to call me Pa, Dad, or Papa, or, which is a term used for father. But also it was easy for me to share the gospel with these boys and to tell them about God and what God the Father looks like. And just one of the stories in the Bible that I like to use as an illustration is the parable of the prodigal son. What that father meant for him, and how even though the son, he disappointed his dad, he still remained a son of the father. And when he packed up his stuff and he realized that he's made mistakes and he came and asked for forgiveness, his father didn't say, I'm no longer your father because you have taken everything that I had to give to you. His father actually ran towards him and grabbed him. And I think that is the picture of God the Father. And for me, it also speaks volumes in terms of once you can understand what it is like to have an earthly father, it will be easier for you to understand what it is to have a godly father. So this has always been my heart, to not replace their fathers. I can never do that, but to actually show them what an actual father should be like. Because I see a lot of my biological father's traits in my own life, and how he has actually sometimes my mom says you're just like your dad, and I think that is what I think, and if I didn't have that example, I would not know how to actually be a father to these boys. So you know, the things that my dad taught me, I can now actually teach the boys in this house, and I can teach them the things that can make them a better person one day. And sometimes it's a small thing, just how to hold a saw, or how to drill, or how to hit the hammer, which to most kids is a normal thing. But if you never had a dad to teach you that, it can be quite, it's just so fulfilling to see when somebody actually learn how to do something properly, you know. And so for me, being a father, I wouldn't say it is something that I say, you know, becoming a father when my daughter was born, actually, it was like, after waiting for 9 years of becoming a dad, and we weren't able to have children, and when then God gave us Anaya, our eldest daughter, it was at that point when I became a dad. When she was born, that's when I became a dad, and it just came naturally, because that is what God has actually just implanted, that trait in my heart. And I think, so it was easy for me to come and show these young men in our program how to become a dad. But the thing is, that I mostly appreciate, you know, it's not like, you know, it's just the whole issue on wanting to be somebody in somebody, or to wanting to be something in somebody's life. I think that is the most important. And so for me, you know, every day, I come to work, but I actually just come to my home, you know, to my family. And yes, it is dysfunctional, because we don't have a home, you know, where you have a father and a mother. But you know what? We have a place where these boys can call home, a place where we can actually teach them great values and things where they can learn. And sometimes we often think, our father, of becoming a father is limited to your own children. You know, I don't think that is what it's like, you know, because I think you can actually be, you can be a father to any person who needs that kind of intervention in their lives. So for me, I would encourage men or people that are saying like, yeah, but I don't have children of my own. How do I know what it is like to be a father? It is just, you know, spending time. One of the very great proverbs or things that I've learned, or sayings that I've learned over the years, is that kids, they, how do they spell love? They don't spell it Love. They spell love Time. And time. You know, it means that if you have time to spend with other people, and time to actually show people, or young men, or whatever, wherever you are, even if it's at your work, if it's at school, if it's at university, if you just show people that you care about them and you spend time with them, you can be a father, you can be a role model, you can be a person that actually speak into their lives. So the question for me is, you know, how have I lived out my life as a father? You know, it is really simple, because one of my life mottos is really, and I think I've said it so many times, but that is my motto in life, the words of St. Francis of Assisi, where he says, you know, preach the gospel, and if necessary, use words. So for me, I don't need to really say a lot. I can just show, you know, and I can just be that example to the people that God surrounds me with. I can just be myself, and out of that, people can learn and see what it is that they should be, or how they should live. So I don't need to speak much, I don't need to preach to them, but I can just be that to them, you know. And so yeah, I don't think I have any big talents, although I've learned a lot in life, you know. Before I came here, I've got stuff that I can give back, but those things are not important. It's just to be able to listen, to hear when somebody speaks, to actually be there for them, you know, to give them that assurance that, hey, I'm here for you, I'm not going to go. And I do remember when I just came to this place, the boys were thinking like, yeah, when are you going to leave? Because everybody that comes here only come for a short period of time, either for 6 months, a year, or for 2 years, and then they go back to where they came from. And once they found out, hey, Mr. Melvin is here, or Pa is here, he's not going to leave, he's going to be here for the long haul, it actually made things so much easier. And so, yeah, that's it.